Ready.
Welcome to the CanadaGuns talk show, episode 75. Doom. I am the Crover.
You got a real Spider-Man when he's the emo like edgy Spider-Man look going for you right now.
That's just my greasy as fuck look because I worked out and I haven't showered. Hey, but it's kind of like the greasy Mexican look, so you know people are gonna like that. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
That was crazy. That was Adriel. You know these people. You know me.
Whoa. Hey, OPSEC, don't say my name.
Sorry, the hunting gear guy.
Woo! Close one. I'll have to edit this video later.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to get Elixir to block out your name via absolutely the worst possible way ever on every single frame of every single one of your mentions.
Can I? It's really old timey, but could I get the black bars over my eyes?
Or no, better yet, just put one on your image, but not even track you. So like sometimes you move in and out of it.
I like it. Yeah.
That made me think, does my name actually show up like my full name every time it has the thing?
It just shows up your first name.
Oh, okay, good. That's fine then.
Don't worry. I mean, we're like long past OPSEC, dude. Like,
fuck, it's been 70-something episodes of it doing this.
75. Actually 75. Oh my god, we have 11 viewers? What the fuck, people? Don't you have something better to do?
Are they asking us or are they asking the other viewers? Because I think the answer to both of those is no.
I love your Capital B says loved your 180C video, Adriel. So there you go.
Hey, I got a more reasonable scope on it now. Check that out.
What was wrong with the Gigantor one? I really dug that.
I really dig the Gigantor one too, but I think I'm gonna shoot some 3-guns. So I'm gonna sight it in with this 1-4, and I'm gonna shoot 3-gun and maybe coyotes. I got I'll talk about that later.
All right. We're gonna go over what we did last week. So we're gonna start with Crazy because I know he was weaving it up.
Yeah. So I went to Japan since the last episode, as I mentioned I would do, and there was the biggest typhoon in 25 years happened.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, that happened to hit the country while I was there. I was thankfully not in the path of the typhoon when it hit, but I went to where it hit later on. And a bunch of the shit I wanted to go to was closed. So I went to Kyoto and Osaka in the later half of my trip, which is the two cities the typhoon hit the hardest. So in Kyoto, me and my buddy tried going to the Kyoto National Museum. It was closed. The day we tried going to it, it had closed. What was that, Adriel?
Was it the Waifu Museum?
No. We stayed in Akihabara.
Was it the Hakamira-kun one? The fucking pillow one?
The Dakimakura?
Body pillow?
The body pillow one?
But we tried going to the Kyoto National Museum. It was closed. We tried climbing the mountain at the Fushimi Inari Shrine. It was closed. There was another shrine whose mountain was closed. So
how do you close a mountain? Just climb it.
Fucking trees fell on the path, so they closed the paths. And
go over top the trees.
That's what I would think, but no, official whatever shrine thing, public safety, stupid whatever, and so
there must have been a tree down across a power line or something.
Who knows? Either way, so that happened, and then there was a castle whose inner grounds were closed for renovations, and there was massive renovations going on to a bunch of things to fix all the roof shingles that flew off and fucking whatever. And then when we went to Osaka, the airport was closed still. So I had originally planned it so that we would fly into Tokyo and fly out of Osaka because that's where we were going to be. But then a week and a half after the typhoon, and Osaka airport was still mostly closed. So our flight got canceled. I remember sitting there 5:30 p.m. We had just gotten out of a fucking shopping mall in Kyoto, and I check my phone and I see travel advisory, and I'm like, oh fuck, I know what this is. So sure enough, flight got canceled. I tried calling the Taiwanese line for the airline and got nothing. They were busy. So then it was 10:30 at night. I had already drank 5 or 6 beers, and I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna call the North American line. And
woo, charges.
no, I called it on my Gmail, and it was free.
Smart dude.
That's why I did it. Yeah, my tablet dropped the connection because its Wi-Fi is liquid dildos. So, but yeah, eventually I got a new flight out of Tokyo and had to pay for the bullet train back to Tokyo. So that was $200 I didn't want to spend, but what can you do? I had to get back to work the next day.
But was it cool though?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a fantastic trip. Other than that, like, saw all the things we planned on seeing. Fucking
Wearing closed.
What? Yeah, that weren't closed, at least. Gives me more incentive to go back later. But yeah, saw the things that we wanted to see. We ended up seeing more than what I had originally planned because, like, some of the things took, like, no time. It was, like, 2 hours in some of the places. And I was like, well, that was quick. We can go to, like, the next 3 temples I was going to go to because they take, like, an hour and a half to 2 hours apiece. So, like, we ended up with so much more time left that we went to another city and spent the whole day in just this other city that we hadn't planned on going to. So that was pretty cool. And the flight home, I passed through Calgary.
Hey.
And Alberta was at the time having some technical difficulties because there was all this white stuff on the ground. Don't know what was up with that. But yeah, we passed through Calgary, and we had an hour and a half layover where we deplaned, cleared customs, and replaned onto the same fucking plane. And that really pissed me off, especially since, like, I'm used to Pearson, which is a shitty airport and takes forever to do anything. So I was like, an hour and a half layover is not enough time to clear customs. Especially
dude, Calgary is slick.
Oh, yeah, it was so much much better. But yeah, and all this, like, they have a bunch of volunteers who walk around dressed up like cowboys. It's hilarious.
Yeah, the white hats.
But, like, I, of course, was over on the booze limit because I was bringing back sake and whiskey. So I had to go and, yes, I'm over on the whatever. And I had to wait for the customs officer to say, yeah, okay, we don't give a shit. But, yeah. And then I had to stuff.
If it was me.
I had to stuff the whiskey from the duty free in my fucking check bag before getting on the next flight. Which then, because it was a domestic from there, no one was bringing check baggage on it. So all of the overhead bins for carry-on were fucking full. And it was terrible. And the flight was kept like a fucking refrigerator because Calgary was cold as shit. So they expected everyone to be wearing sweaters and coats and stuff. So I was sitting there in shorts and a t-shirt, freezing my ass off.
Right.
But yeah.
Did you see any GADs in Japan?
Did I see it? Well, other than what the police officers were carrying, no. And the police officers, it's all leather holstered, like, short barreled revolvers. So, like, you can't even really see them in there, but you just know that, like, you can see the handle of the revolver in a leather holster on their hip, and it's like, you can tell it's got like a 3-inch barrel or some shit on it.
They probably have to, like, bow and apologize when they shoot someone with it too.
Yeah,
sorry.
You're probably not wrong. It's the funny thing. They actually use the lanyard loop on it to tether the gun to their belt so it can't be stolen. But yeah, that was one of the only guns I saw. There were some swords in some museum. Oh, actually, I went to an airsoft shop in Osaka and they had some deactivated AKs, which was interesting. And they had a "Make America Great Again" hat.
Of course they did.
I was like this close to buying it because I'm like, I should really buy a fucking MAGA hat in Japan.
Dude, you need to have a MAGA hat as a white male, okay?
No, thanks. But yeah, other than that, and then as soon as we got back from the trip, I went the first weekend back from the trip, which was last weekend, I went shooting. And my club was doing some kind of like IDPA style setup, moving target, like not moving target, moving course of fire, so like from different points thing in holster. So I decided to try it with my new Canic, and I was shooting high right with it. So I decided to go to the range the next day and shoot like several hundred rounds through it. And yeah, I was shooting high right with it. So
what's the diagram say that is, Adriel?
Well, I think you mentioned that you self-diagnosed it, right?
Yeah, I think high right means I'm like a furry or something. I forget what that was. Where was that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Wasn't that or maybe it wasn't not enough masturbation.
I see you're fucking up. Here we are.
It's on Weekend Gun It. I mean, you could try and search for Weekend Gun It.
I'm anticipating recoil as the
no,
the thing
definitely
for it.
not that. No, probably furry or something like that. That seems.
That sounds better. That sounds more correct.
reasonable.
Isn't that right, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the hell was that one? I'm just seeing the actual ones, not the meme ones, which is unfortunate.
Oh, one thing to keep in mind, folks, is that Japan's got some of the strictest gun control in the world.
Oh,
so
yeah.
somebody on the comments said that the cops always get the short barrel stuff. Like maybe he was saying that all the cops get are, the fun short little guns, but I mean they might literally only have those.
They pretty much do only have those, as far as I understand. Like, there's handguns are completely illegal in Japan. Semi-automatics are surprisingly not completely illegal, but it's like, if you think our gun laws are shit and you think they're going to get shittier, like, go and actually look up what it is in Japan. It's even worse.
Or if you want to keep it on the right hemisphere, just go look at fucking the UK. Those guys are fucked. Or Australia. Those guys are completely fucked.
Both of those countries have more relaxed gun laws than Japan.
Yeah. A little bit of perspective.
What's interesting is...
Wait. What were you saying?
I was just going to say about the comparison between England and Australia. There are some parts of English gun laws that are looser than Australia's, and some part of Australia's that are looser than England's. You can still own pistols in Australia, but you can't in England. And you can still own semi-automatic shotguns and 22s in England, but you can't in Australia.
That's true. And, well, you can own pistols in the UK, but if anybody's ever seen a 1911 that's still allowed in the UK, oh, boy. Let me just give you a quick mental image. Imagine a normal 1911 with a rod the length of a buttstock sticking out of the bottom of the frame, right where the grip
barrel goes up to about here.
and a barrel that is what, 18 inches?
18 or 16, I'd expect.
Yeah, basically an 18-inch 1911 barrel sticking out of the front and a rod. And you know why? Because then it's a rifle.
And it's always in 22 because center fire semi-automatic rifles are prohibited. So they always get a 1911 in 22 set up in this configuration because rimfire semi-automatic rifles are still legal in England.
So I guess that makes more sense because if it was a fucking tilting barrel, that might not fucking work at all. Can you imagine the fucking slide trying to fucking move an 18-inch barrel and rotate it a little or tilt it a little? Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. On the other hand, I'm glad that you made it back, and I'm glad you had a good trip.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a T-shirt I bought at the Tokyo National Museum.
Is that you but in Japanese art form?
No, we started calling this guy the Dude because like the actual name of this painting is some stupid long thing about guy playing other guy in play. So we just started calling him Dude. And the thing is, like, they kept advertising Dude on like all the stuff for the museum, but they don't actually have this painting in the museum.
Huh.
Apparently it's in Boston or some shit. So we're just like, why you got all this shit for Dude and Dude's not even here? But either way, like me and my buddies, we all bought this same T-shirt because that day there were like me and two of my buddies were there. We all bought the same T-shirt, and one of my buddies bought like $50 worth of shit with this guy on it.
That's a lot of shit for just a dude.
Yeah. By the way, I'm done. That's what I did.
All right. Hey, Adriel, what'd you do?
Yo. Some stuff.
What?
WK1 to ADC. So I got the video. I don't know. Just go watch that. Watch the corrected one where I like unfucked the audio
but it was only fucked for like 30 seconds.
Like a minute. Yeah, I still wanted to fix it. Okay. Wait, I did get a more reasonable scope on it. There we go. That looks a bit better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the rings you have on there?
They're the Nikon P series. I've got a one piece on the way. I don't really like these ones that much. They're just available. I had them, kind of thing. So
yeah, I was gonna say why you don't have a one piece mount, but
I do on my other AR, but I have. Well, actually, I was just checking CGN because I messaged a guy about buying one off of him, and he didn't get back to me. Weird. Yeah. Yeah. So pretty accurate, pretty reliable. So I am going to shoot a 3-gun match with this, and that's where I'll see the issues, because that's always when you see the shit occur is when you're actually shooting in competition.
You swapped the trigger on it yet?
Oh yeah. I tried the factory one, and yep, it's a mil spec trigger, and threw it out, and I put a 2-stage in there. I've got an RRA 2-stage national match here, and it's good. If I really like this gun, I'll throw in my 1.5 pound Uber trigger, and I'll put it in
What,
here.
the Elfman?
I sold the Elfman because I thought there was something wrong with the Elfman. There was nothing wrong with it. There's some weird bug in my AR, and I cannot figure it out.
Didn't you say that you thought it was the fact that it was an NEA lower and it's probably out of spec somehow?
Yep, that's what I thought. And then I used my my Aero Precision lower, and that didn't help. And then
didn't?
Nope. Still had the same. It appears to be short stroking. Okay, I think it's short stroking because it's not resetting the hammer correctly. The hammer's following halfway with the Elfman, because the Elfman has a half cock. And it won't. Sometimes it won't lock back. It won't lock back on the on an empty magazine. Yep. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Okay, so because it wasn't resetting the hammer, but it was feeding another round. Can you even do that in an AR? Like if the bolt goes back far enough to grab another round, isn't
Have you tried a different bolt?
Set? Yes, I tried a different bolt.
And that's not it.
I've literally like swapped in or out so many different things. The only thing that's left is the barrel, the forend, and the upper.
Have you swapped out the gas system on it too already?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually took the gas block and the gas tube off, and I threw another one on. I checked the new one afterwards. There was no gas coming out of it. So my other one had a little bit of gas that had come out. I don't know if that was like closer to the start or closer to the end of using that gas system, but I put a new gas system in there, and I'm still having short stroking problems. I checked the gas port on the barrel, and it is 2 spec for that length barrel.
Well, fuck. You got a gremlin.
That's a weird gremlin. So I have 2 ARs. I'm going to take both of them and all my tools to the range, and I'm going to figure out what's causing the issue. I'm going to swap in and out every part that I've got until this damn thing starts working.
You fuck with the buffer and the spring, did you?
I completely switched lowers on it as well. And the lowers came with different buffer and spring. The buffer and springers are stock. They're not heavy. They're not H1 or H2. They're just regular carbine buffers.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to find something stupid. I'm going to find that I fucked up something in my testing regimen, I think, when I actually get back and test it, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at this point.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking weird, man.
Yep. The WK really liked this this Hornady 55 grain VMAX stuff, which is nice because I think this will kill the shit out of a coyote. I checked our game regs here in Alberta for big game. Well, I can't use a 223 for big game.
But you can use a 22 long rifle.
Yes. For big game? Well, not legally. You can use a 223 for coyotes, and there is no capacity limit for coyotes. Oh. So I'm gonna run this little 10 rounder here, and that's a nice little compact, not getting in the way kind of a magazine. And if a couple of coyotes come in on a call or something like that, I'm gonna hose the shit out of them. Ideally, what I'd like to do is nail one with my bow, and then I've got the whole season to hunt grouse and or coyotes. I'd shoot a grouse in the face with this thing. Just 1x, whoop, shoot him right in the face, and yeah. That'd work, right?
Actually, I know your holdovers because if you know the grouse, they're going to be really stupid and just walk up to you.
Yeah, really close up, your AR is going to shoot low, so you definitely want to aim a little bit high. And yeah, that's one thing I've learned through shooting 3-gun is the different holdovers. I can shoot on my side and know which way it's going to shoot and all that kind of stuff. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing you learn. I got some CZ Shadow mags. For 40 cal, and they work. They work great. So these are the Mechgar ones, and you see there where that dimple is on the 9mm version. It's a little bit higher.
Yep.
And all the other specs are the same.
Yep.
So it's made for a 9mm. This one's made for a 40. Feed lips are the same on both of them, and feed's great. Feed's awesome.
God
so
damn it.
Not for an IPSC, but for 3-gun, these are now going to be my go-to.
You know what? I was this close to going with the 40 cal mags when I got my Shadow, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And I actually made a post asking if anybody could measure the feed lips on either of them. And people were like, no, don't do it. Regulations, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, fuck it. I'll just...
They had a bulletin that said like, hey, sometimes 9mm might fit in a 40. That's okay. It matters what it's designed for. It was like in that one bulletin.
Beowulf.
Yeah. That one, they've got some other weird interpretation that's also fucky. But
whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, these work great. So I got 5 of these. That should be enough because that's like 13 rounds a pop, whatever that is. Yeah.
Now I know there's probably no limit for that in 3-gun because there's kind of no governing body, but as far as I understand, those aren't legal in IPSC, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Well, no, you can run these in IPSC. You could just load 10 rounds. If you go through a course of fire and an 11th or 12th round comes out of one of these mags for you, you don't get bumped to open. I don't even know what would happen then. I've got a rule book here. I guess I could look it up. This is the IPSC rule book. It's so
casual.
Very complete. Very complete. I'll look it up while someone else is talking. That's it. That's all I did in guns. I shot my my Marlin. I sighted in a 308 hunting rifle. I hope I don't need to use it. I hope I can just like hit one with my bow and then use this 223. So yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
What is nice of me? Shooting the deer with the bow?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much more ethical. Imagine if you use a spear.
I don't think we can in Alberta anymore.
No, we can't. I'm making a joke because it was like a year or two ago.
Last year. This is fucking recent, man.
Yeah.
Was it only last year?
That's why I said like a year or two ago. I wasn't sure. We had a fella in Alberta want to hunt bear. I know, actually, he hunted. He
didn't want to hunt. He hunted them, and he did put a video up of him like spearing a bear. Other people have done this. Other people have already done this. He just videotaped it and published it under the wrong provincial government.
Yeah, and
people have been doing this for literally thousands of years.
Yeah, because a big ass fucking stick stabbing you fucking kills you.
What do you think the idea behind a bow and arrow was? Take the spear, make it smaller, and go faster.
And, not be like 2 meters from the bear. But yeah, you cannot legally spear hunt in Alberta anymore.
Nope.
Just damn shame. Because you know what? I remember it quite distinctly when I heard that the first time. And I thought, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? Why would he do that? And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, actually, that's literally no different than any other hunting.
I'm pretty sure like he was uniquely qualified to do it as well. He had been like javelin thrower in high school. He practiced a lot doing it. Like, and this was from a ground stand. So this is no fucking around. Wasn't it this guy threw it from a ground stand or from up in the
I don't know the details, man. I just know he bagged the bear.
Like filming it because it was part of a TV show and he like goes around and spear hunts for this show.
Yeah,
well, if he does, I want to watch this show.
Yeah. He had a GoPro on the spear too.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's some good TV quality.
That is. I mean, it's a little morbid, but you know, that's kind of like
That's hunting shows, though. Hunting
Yeah, that's
shows
hunting
are
shows.
like there's just something's gonna die.
and you're gonna watch it die.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, yeah, somebody's fifis got hurt, and then you can't spear hunt another anymore. Onto what I did in guns in the last month. Not much up until last weekend. Fuck you! I got the fly. Nah, I spilled my beer. Damn it. I went to the range for the first time in a month last weekend because I finally decided that I was gonna do some testing of the latest and greatest groupings and loads for my Tikka. If you remember, I got a very large rifle, and it's in a very nice chassis, and it shoots very good. And I said to myself, you know what could make it shoot better if I went ahead and I reloaded for it, which I then started doing. And, well, this is the result. So I'm fucking around with Varget, Hornady 178 ELDX projectiles, Federal Gold Medal Match primers, and I'll get to why in a second. And I have them a little long. Now, documented dimensions for 308 is 2.8 inches in overall length. And I have them sitting at 2.815 because that's as long as they will fit and feed from my magazine. Because my rifle uses detachable box magazines. It's a Tikka in an MDT chassis that uses MDT large, or actually no, medium-sized mags. And initially, I started testing. I use like the usual thing of like making sure everything is the same, but just change the charge of the powder. And I started at the bottom of the documented load data on my Hornady manual, which was I think like 41 grains, and I went all the way up to 43 because that was when it said that I was approaching the maximum. And I found a pretty good group at around 42 and a half. So I decided to test around 42 and a half, and the results speak for themselves. Because when I went ahead and I started with 42.3, the groups opened up slightly. The original group that I did on the original testing at 42 and a half gave me sub MOA like 0.57, I think it was my group. So at 0.3, so less of a charge, it opened up. I'm not sure if it really did open up though. I feel like the wind really picked up for those last two shots because I mean look at the other fucking three shots. They're right there. So maybe that was me, maybe it wasn't. But 42.4, it's still pretty wide. I mean, the top is actually 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's actually right on 1 inch, 1 MOA. This is at 100 yards. And then this is the shots that I took again with the 42.5, which was the previous load, and it's sub MOA. It's a pretty good group. And then here's what happens with 42.6. One ragged hole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 42.7, an even smaller, more ragged hole. So yeah, results are nice, and I was happy to see those results. And I was told by somebody on Reddit that apparently I'm doing my ladder testing wrong because.
Who gives a fuck? You're getting like half MOA. You're shooting good, man. And your rifle's shooting good. So who cares?
Exactly. Basically, what I was told is basically you cannot account for all the variables, and therefore you cannot, that specific load will be able to be replicated at a later date. But then when I talked with a couple of other people, more specifically Noel, I don't know how to say his fucking username, but he's an IRC all the time. He likes to do the long range shit. He talked to me and asked me what the velocities were, and wouldn't you know it, I have a little book that I have all my velocities written down for all the loadings and all the shots that I've taken. And
because you got a crony?
I got a crony. And from the data that I gathered with that particular load, I got the smallest standard deviation. I had a grand total of 5.7 feet per second in standard deviation for that.
Jesus, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's your load.
Yeah. So
what are you going to do with that? Okay, you got an accurate rifle. It can shoot. It can print nice little groups at 100. But really, like a 308 is supposed to be fired out to 800.
Yeah.
So you're going to shoot like precision rifle matches with it? Do some PRS?
I don't know what there is in Alberta, but if there's something in Alberta, I'll give it a shot.
I was told that 308 just hits this magical wall at 800 and drops like a rock.
It goes subsonic.
Bounces.
Yeah,
it bounces off you if you're out there. It doesn't. You don't need to worry about it at 800. Even if you get hit, it'll just fall off.
Yeah. So you know what happens when I think, memeing aside, is at 800 yards it goes subsonic, and then you see a big decrease in performance. I don't even fucking know what the hell it does.
Yeah, some of the bullets when they go across the transonic barrier, they lose their shit.
Yeah,
some of them are do pretty well going transonic. Some of them don't.
Yeah. So these are fairly heavy loads at 178 grains. I mean, they're not the heaviest you can push. I'm not sure what my barrel would be able to stabilize because the Tikka T3 varmint barrel is an 11.2 twist rate.
I know the like 200 grain ELDX Hornadies say shoot with 1 in 10 twist barrels, so I'm not sure you'd be able to stabilize much heavier than what you're already shooting.
Yeah, which is good because those are the heaviest projectiles I have. But I do have some Sierra Matchkins, and people apparently jizz their pants when you say those words. So
those are good too.
Maybe those ones will do better. I don't know if it can.
Who cares, man? If you're shooting half an MOA, half to 3/4 using reloads, that's good enough. Reload a shitload and start shooting at long range with that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
are you going to join the Milo range or? Yeah,
I'm on the wait list for Milo for next year.
What do they got for range out there? 500, 600?
I think so. They got a long one. They got a 100-yard one for sure, obviously, and then they got a big long one. So that's the case. I need a better
scope. Those distances in Ontario, you got to go to Crown Land.
Yeah, no, Alberta, buddy, prairies. It's wide open.
500.
Yeah,
you've got range to 500, so 500 meters. Yeah, a little bit more than 500 yards, but yeah, decent.
Yeah, with the possibility of being able to actually shoot that range, I would be thrilled. But I do need a better scope. Right now, I have a 6.5 by 20, which is all right.
What's the quality of glass on it? Because 6.5 to 20 is tons for magnification.
Yes, but the thing is, I don't have turrets. I just have dials, and I have a ballistic reticle on it, but it's not like great. It's just like 3 fucking dots on the bottom cross.
What's the scope?
It's via Vortex Viper.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. A Vortex Viper 6 to 20 is like the fact that it's got covered turrets is not fantastic for PRS or something like that.
Yeah, but it's got adjustable parallax, which is better than not.
Mm-hmm. And when you said it's got dials, so are the scopes?
Yeah, it's got covers on the.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a turret.
You could figure out what those dots go out to. So, like at magnification, like what the dots correspond to, because you might find that one of them gets you out to 500, and you just have to split the difference between them to shoot anything closer.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, fuck.
Like Nikon having that whatever the fuck software that does that for you.
Strelock will do it too.
Or I could just see what the fucking holdovers are.
But yeah, you'll find
it'll map out your fucking reticle, right? Like here, let me see.
Just about any scope that's over 10 times magnification, except maybe some loophole 4 to 12s, are going to have parallax adjustment on them.
Yeah. So this is what Strelock will do for you with your scope. So that's that 1 to 4 on the WK180 at 4x magnification. There's a ton of MOA. Sorry, it's not really Come on, you can do it. It's not really focusing to the software there,
almost.
but what it does is it shows for those hash marks how far down it's there it goes. How far down on the hash marks you'll go before you're doing distance, right? So at 10 the 10 hash mark there, that's 950. Yeah. What? Oh, that's at 1x zoom. Let me put it up to 4. That's better. So that's showing me that at the bottom of that circle, that's 500. Yeah, 500 yards at the bottom of the hash marks at the bottom of that circle there, right? So you can do this for your scope, and it'll tell you the distance. I've calculated in my velocity and all that kind of stuff, right? So if I wanted to, I can make a shot out to 500 with this, and it'll probably be reasonable.
It's something to consider. But like I said, I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of trying to be as nerdy as possible with this thing. The reason that I picked federal gold medal match primers is because Elixir on IRC linked me to a post on a blog, one of those fucking long-range precision blogs, and apparently primers make a difference. If you spend money on some funky little primer, it might not do as well as you might think. And if you spend money on some decent primers, it might actually make a difference. And gold medal match primers showed some of the smallest variation in feet per second than all other primers that they found. I think there was one other primer that was better in terms of quality and performance than the gold medal match. So I just went and I bought 1,000 primers of those. And yeah, right now
from Tenda or
no, Bullseye. Also, fuck you. I also went ahead and I shot Tinkerfuck because initially Tinkerfuck was having a Geistly Super 3-gun match trigger. I can't remember. It was an obscene trigger. I got it for an obscenely good deal, and it was not what I wanted. In that gun is really not something that needs something that nice. So the trigger is almost too nice for that gun. Like I feel like the rifle doesn't need something that nice. So I went back to the original AR-15 trigger that I got out of my original Colt 6920. It's a bone stock mil-spec M4 semi-automatic trigger. And what's nice about it is that it's consistent. It's heavy, obviously, but it breaks. It breaks exactly at the same point every single time. There is very little creep, very little squishiness to it, not too much grittiness. And I think if I continue to shoot that trigger in that gun, it's just going to smooth out more over time. Another thing that it had is a
cord trick that you can do to induce wear on the trigger parts.
Oh, I mean, like tying it to the charging handle and tying it to the trigger and just pulling on both, and it.
Yeah, there's some way of doing it. I'm lazy. I just replace it with another trigger, but there is a way of artificially smoothing out the trigger with lots of trigger pulls without having to spend the money on ammo.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Another thing that I did is I went and I took... What the fuck did DV just do? Yes, that's actually me, DV. Yes, he's watching. And he posted on IRC. Somebody has a thread on CGN and says, I saw a bad review on Tenda. Should I be concerned? And that's,
yeah,
that's my review. I'm pretty much sure that he's talking about. It was wearing a Vortex Strike Eagle 1-4, 1-6 actually. It's a really good scope, but again, I'm not shooting out that far, and it's only a 10.5-inch barrel, so it's not like I'm really needing this to be a reach out and touch something rifle. So I dug through my parts bin and I found my old TRS-25. This red dot I bought to go on the second gun I ever bought, which was a Remington 870 Express tactical model. And yes, it rusted. That's the gun that turned into the Guacamole 870. And that red dot withstands shotgun slugs. But I have never truly put that on a gun that could perform up to the standard that dot can do. I believe this is a 3 or 4 MOA dot. So I need a gun that can be pretty much guaranteed to always put out 3 or 4 MOA. It did live on top of a 1022 that I used to own. Actually, Mango Yogurt Fruits, he sold me a 1022 with tech sites that had
3 MOA.
3 MOA, yeah. That had a rail in it. It was the tech sites with a rail. And so I put the red dot on it so that it would be co-witnessing with the tech sites. And then I sold the rifle and I kept the rail, the TRS 25. And then I got a ricer because when I wanted to put that red dot on that Daria that I won from Caliber Mag, it was too low. For those of you wanting to put optics on those semi-auto Turkish shotguns, they are set up to take optics in the style of an AR-15. So you need to have a ricer. So just buying the TRS-25 is not going to cut it. You might need to buy a TRS-50, which is just a TRS-25 that comes with a factory ricer. Or better yet, you might want to be an early adopter of the TRS-26, which is the next generation of optics by Bushnell that has an integrated ricer that will co-witness with AR-15, M16 style iron sights, which is a long-winded way of saying I put a red dot on my AR because it's going to perform about 3 MOA at its worst, and this is a 3 MOA dot. And the results speak for themselves. I tried shooting this thing, and I have not ever shot it with a red dot Tinkerfuck, and it works. It works, and it exactly performs the way that it should. Look at that. That was the first group that I shot, so it's not awesome, but it was all right. Kind of wide. But then things got better. There is a 2.85. And then once I got a hang of using the red dot, one thing that I found was actually quite useful is not turning it to its brightest setting, because then the dot kind of flashes, and, you know, the blur and the glare of it makes it a little less fine. And then look at that. That's with a red dot at 100 yards. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's looking decent.
Yep.
I mean, red dots are fast too, right?
Yes, they are. I was shocked, you know, just like, oh, where's the dot? Oh, there's the dot. Bang. Oh, where's the dot? There was the dot. Oh, there's the dot. Bang. Just bang, 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 bang. Bang them out. With the scope, even with the Strike Eagle, which is not a true 1X, it's more like 1.5 or 1.25. It's difficult, you know. You kind of have to get your sight picture. With the red dot, you just point and shoot, man. I was quite surprised by how well that performed. And I also have some backup iron sights on there because I picked up those iron sights actually a long time ago. They came with a KSG. I've owned a KSG, so I can speak on that. It was pretty crappy, but it was a $700 KSG that came with MacPool Pro sights, which are like $200 by themselves. So I picked that up, sold the KSG, and kept the sights. And now the sights live on the Tinkerfuck. And yeah. I'm thinking, Adriel, that you're going to get to see Tinkerfuck in the flesh when I run that, my Shadow 1, and an undetermined shotgun at this time when I go shoot 3-gun at some point in Alberta.
November?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I need a shotgun. I mean, I could run my 870, a Bobbin 870, but...
Oh, you can borrow a shotgun. Come on.
Yeah, I can borrow a shotgun.
No, you need to run the Abominate 70. Don't let him borrow a shot. Tell him he has to bring that.
It's cylinder bore and it holds 5 shells.
And it's leopard print. You bring that to 3-gun and you shoot it.
I mean, I've been thinking about getting it threaded because I'm not ever going to sell that shotgun. It's not going to leave my hands. So I might as well get it threaded for chokes.
Yeah, or just, I'd say get another barrel, but it's already painted. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kleeman and I are ever going to be in the position to make a pattern that matches the one on that gun again.
Yeah, get it threaded.
Oh, okay. The TRS-25 Tactical is the one that comes with the ricer, apparently. QuickDub was kind enough to correct me. Giovanni DeMarco, if you have the dot at its highest setting of brightness and it is not a particularly bright day, the dot kind of diffuses a little bit. You know, it really is like a laser pointer. You know, when you shine a laser pointer on something and you see that it's not a super precise dot. It's kind of like a, you know, blurry dot. If you have it at its highest magnification and it's not a really bright day where you need that extra magnification, I found that if I turn the brightness of the red dot down, it's got 11 brightness settings, and I was taking shots at like 4 or 3 because the dot at that point is very, very, it's not faint. It's just not glaring.
Yeah.
And I found that helped me take the shots
better. I keep the red dot on my AR, I think around 6 or 7 on it. And even then, too, I notice it gets worse when you've got a 3 times magnifier, because then you got to worry about the focus of that and how that affects the diffusion of the light around it and all that. Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm moving. I'm moving soon. It's gonna happen within a couple of weeks, and then I'm gonna be in Alberta. And the next show should still be here in Victoria, but then in a month I should be in Calgary permanently. And I'm gonna be shooting at Milo because my buddy's got guest passes and he's already a member. So I'm gonna stretch out my guns out there. And I need to find a trap field because I know I'm one of those odd gun owners that has an appreciation for facets of the sport that usually don't merge. I love shooting trap, and I really like sporting clays, and I even tried skeet, and I'm not particularly good at skeet, but it's all right. And usually the demographic for the shotgun sports does not mix with the demographic of the people that have leopard print 870 short barrel shotguns.
No.
Which is to say, it's particularly amusing to bring out the 14-inch leopard print 870 to trap shooting and to sporting clays, and have my buddy beat me with that shotgun because his failed on him.
I mean,
and I was using my big long 1100.
To be fair, the demographic of people with leopard print pink 870 shotguns consists of you. So there is a large overlap between people with leopard print 870 shotguns and people who shoot trap, considering that demographic of people who own leopard print 870 shotguns consists of one person.
I think you might be onto something. Other than that, we do have a topic, even though we've been rambling on for about 40 minutes. It happened. It's not ratified, but it is through the House of Commons. Bill C-71 is going to the Senate. Take it away, Crazy.
Okay, I mean, everyone already knows how terrible C-71 is, so I'm just going to speak to what basically ends up happening with the passage of a bill. So it goes first through the House of Commons, through 3 readings. Usually between second and third, there's committees, they propose amendments to it, blah, blah, whatever. C-71, as far as I understand, got through without basically any amendments to it. And then it gets passed from the House of Commons onto the Senate, where it goes through the same kind of process. Again, 3 readings in the Senate. The Senate can then choose to either send it back to the House of Commons with amendments proposed, at which point the House of Commons either accepts or rejects the amendments and sends it back to the Senate. From what I remember, the Senate can send this back 3 times before the House forces them to send it through, but I'm not 100% on that. I've also heard that it can just die in the Senate, and the government will have to reintroduce a new bill with slight differences because they can't reintroduce the same bill twice in a term. But yeah, it'll go to the Senate now. They're booked until like mid-October, from what I understand. So like it'll be just before Christmas before this thing even gets to first reading in the Senate. Then, depending on how much the independent and liberal caucuses want to push this bullshit, it'll either hit second reading really quickly, or they'll just kind of push it off for a while. And basically our best hope is that they push it off until an election is called sometime next summer, because I mean, sometime in December, the House goes on vacation for like a month for Christmas, and then they don't get back until like sometime halfway through January.
They don't do a lot of real work.
No, then they go on break in like February, and then they go on break in March, and then, like I said, there will be an election next fall, so the government's going to probably call the election at the end of May, beginning of June, to start the campaign stuff, and nothing gets voted on after the election's called, and anything on the table dies. So really our best bet to try and stop C-71 is to try and get the Senate to delay it as much as they can with committees, with studies, with delaying the reading of it, anything like that. It is still technically possible to stop C-71 by just making the Senate fucking twiddle its thumbs over it until the election is called. Now, again, because the liberals, they call them the independents, but it's a crock of shit. It's the liberals. Because they now have a majority in the Senate, they could just basically do whatever the fuck they want if they really want to push this through. The thing is, since theoretically these senators are independent, there should be some degree of possibility that they might actually listen to gun owners because they are not beholden to one particular party or being whipped a particular way on a vote. Now, that is being a bit optimistic, but it's a possibility. And then, of course, the conservative senators are just going to vote against this because it's a liberal proposal, so fuck the liberals. But yeah, so our hope now to try and stop this is to basically have it die in the Senate by trying to delay it as much as possible. We can't really... It's kind of tough to ask senators, hey, just ignore this forever and it'll go away. Can you do that for us? So, like, expressing your discontent to the senators about this bill, they might realize that they could just ignore it until it goes away, or they might even decide, sure, fuck it, and they'll go and basically tell the government, we don't like this bill, get rid of it, and the government will get in a fight with them saying, no, fuck you. But yeah, and then after the Senate, after it's passed third reading in the Senate votes for it, then it goes to the Governor General for royal assent. And I remember when the long gun registry was repealed, there was a petition to the Queen, because the Governor General is the representative of the Queen, and she technically creates all law in Canada. It all goes, the Governor General royal assent means the Queen makes it law. So there was a petition on change.org for the Queen to override the passage of the of C-19 ending the long gun registry, which I thought was hilarious because, frankly, if the Governor General ever says no to a law, it's going to cause a constitutional crisis. So basically, like, the greatest exercise in futility in all of this would be emailing the Governor General, because theoretically the Governor General has the power to not enact C-71, but realistically, if the Governor General doesn't enact C-71, they're a fucking idiot. You know, that's, of course, if it gets to the point of getting to the Governor General and they try and not enact it, then they're a fucking idiot. And they're going to lose their job and cause some massive problems. So we need to stop it at the Senate, because that's really the last place it can be stopped, is at the Senate. So now it's time to contact senators. Contact all the senators for at least your province and tell them, hey, fuck this. Speaking
Are the
of which, I should
senators
actually do that.
partisan? Like, how many of those guys are conservative and how many are liberal?
Are, if I'm not mistaken, 31 conservatives, 11 liberals, and 30 or 40 something independents. But more or less, almost every independent senator was chosen by Justin Trudeau or a previous liberal government. Because Trudeau's whole thing of the Senate is he claims he wants to make it bipartisan, so he basically fired all the liberal senators and said, you're all out of the caucus, you're all independent now, and a group of 11 of them said, fuck you, no, we're not. And the rest of them just went, okay, whatever. So when you hear the independent caucus, it's more or less liberal. And then there's the liberal caucus, which are 11 senators who said we're not leaving the Liberal Party. And then there's the Conservative caucus, who you know are conservatives. So theoretically, Liberal-appointed senators currently hold the majority of votes in the Senate. But so that's when the hope comes that these independents actually act independently to what the government wants. But so far as I understand, they haven't been. They've been towing the Liberal Party line as much as they always have.
Doom.
Well, I mean, Doom as in, if you have a 858 or a Swiss Arms, you're now in possession of a prohib, and you'll get a prohib license or something. And everyone who wants to sell a
memorize
non-restricted.
the CFO number because you're gonna call it every time you buy a 1022.
I already got it memorized. 1-800-731-4000, 124, and you're in. That's if you're transferring or restricted.
So now what I've heard, though, is that they're actually going to allow online verification of licenses, which is something businesses have been able to do forever. And I know this because I used to work for one. You can verify.
That would be magical if it was online and we could just go online to a form and like type in the person's number and hit the button and they're like, okay, here's your number. And you copy and you send it to the other guy and they get the number and they punch it into the computer and it's like, ta-da, we're all good to go. That would be fucking magical and it would make sense. I have zero confidence that's actually what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
the government is great at implementing IT solutions. Go on, Phoenix.
Yeah. The thing with this is since it already exists, it shouldn't be too hard to modify it.
Oh,
come on.
I say that.
Come on.
I say that.
Let's be realistic here.
This is the government here. But yeah, I can tell you what it was is after you sign up with your GC Key account for the government, you get your PAL associated with the business and the business license. You go and put in your PAL information, the business's business license information, their identification number, blah, blah, blah. You get to the point of accessing license verification and the FRT system. And so license verification, you put in a person's PAL number and their birth date. And what you get is their full name, address, and every phone and email, like every phone number and email address they have on record with the RCMP. You get everything except their place of birth displayed to you on a page in front of you. So if you've ever had your license verified by some schmuck at fucking Cabela's, guess what? They've seen all the information about where you live, what your phone numbers are, what your email address is, how long you've had your license for, all of that.
So they have different email addresses in there, like multiples?
Well, I could never use more than one.
I actually
why not? Why don't you call like every time you call in to do transfer or restricted? If you're not in a hurry, get the paper copy and ask for an email and give them some like real like dirtbag email address. Like, oh yeah, it's Pussy Slayer 69 and
gunsforweed@gmail.com.
Email, I'm not
huge list of different emails.
Seeing it at least once, but I don't remember seeing it very often. But phone numbers I know you get because there was one time someone left their PAL at the store, and our solution was to verify the PAL and call the number on record and tell them you forgot your PAL here.
Okay, that's useful. I still want people like to go through all the emails on my record, go through all the ones that are just completely inappropriate.
Crystal meth, not that bad.
Weed dealer 49.
Yeah. Drugs are great. That's spelled GRAET.
That's how you spell great.
Oh, okay.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Call it fentanyl.
Fentanyl by bike.
Oh no. So folks, I mean, at this point, if you're still listening, and at this point, if you're concerned, we're kind of like it's just more confirmation that this is dumb, more confirmation that you're a criminal. You just have a little fucking paper copy that says that you're not gonna get prosecuted at this time. And it is the opinion of the large majority of the uneducated public that you should not be engaging in this activity.
And now they're looking at handguns.
And semi-automatic. Oh, no. Wait.
Assault weapons.
Kroger,
assault weapons. They don't want your bar. They don't want your Browning hunting rifle. They just want all the assault weapons. They're going to define it so that your BAR is covered. But assault weapons.
What was it that Charlton Heston did? He held the gun up over his head and went, "From my cold dead hand."
Said the weeb wearing the fucking Japanese shirt. Yeah. By the way, our CMP officer that watches this show, hi.
Oh, did you forget the byline at the start where we say this is all
God
just a joke?
damn it.
Oh, this is going on our record, Crover. I can't believe you've done this.
We're just like, they're just padding. Like, I mean, at this point, our files must be just so fucking thick. Like, they must have like an itemized mention of every single time we say something retarded on this show.
Well, considering
at this point, it's plausible deniability because we've said so many retarded things that we're covered. At any point, they can be like, "Well, he said this," and you'd be like, "Can you rewind the tape? Let's see what else I said here."
Like, in the grand scheme and in the context of the kinds of people and the topics that discuss, we can just assume that they're morons and they have no ill will.
Harmless morons, yes.
Yeah, just like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for the planet Earth under harmless. And then when it was updated, it went to mostly harmless.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, folks. Write your senators.
Email.
Right. Vote conservative next election.
Go to a town hall and be reasonable and ask some questions.
How about this?
And have those questions screened and ignored.
How about this?
Try.
If you manage to get a hold of anyone, do please ask them questions and encourage them to come and sit down and talk to you at length about this. Anybody that has any kind of interest in the hobby already knows more than every single person on any of these committees that is not already a gun owner. You know more about what it's like to be a gun owner in Canada than any person in any of the committees.
See, what's interesting is I've heard Bill Blair actually has a fairly extensive handgun collection. So I imagine he's not going to want to ban all of his own guns.
Dude, you know what they're going to do? They're just going to get themselves a little license or something, or get that grandfather clause and say fuck you to anybody else that doesn't get it. Or isn't there like a rumor that fucking Trudeau's got his daddy's big ass gun collection too?
Yeah, I've heard that too, because I heard his dad had a fairly sizable gun collection. It had to have gone somewhere.
Yeah. So,
in the grand scheme of things, like, why would he even care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These people don't actually. That's a good point. These people don't care about you. They care about their votes, and then it's a mass. They don't care about single votes. They care about the mass, a critical mass, a substantial mass, a mass that could swing an election. And the way people are, we don't have a unified front. And the 17 people watching us and the 400 people that look at this video in the next 2 weeks, or the 3,000 people that watch this video in a month, how many of us are actually going to contact our members of our representatives? I've done it. Have you, Adriel?
My rep is pro-gun to a fault. I'm in Alberta. Our reps are super conservative out here. We need to influence people who are in, like, the most willing to listen to this kind of thing would be Liberal MPs in primarily rural ridings. Those are the guys who would listen, and those are the guys who'd be like, because like C-71 was whipped. Everyone voted according to party lines.
Yep.
No one decided to say like, I don't think my constituents will like this. They all followed suit. So I think that we need to give them something to think about. Crover, you're shaking your laptop, and it's like. There we go.
The devil's twitch, man. Yeah.
The devil's twitch.
You not heard that one?
Is that like a Mexican saying, or?
I guess so. Must be. What are we up to next week? What are you guys up to next week? What are the plans? What are you guys gonna do? What's coming up? Any upcoming events? Maple Seed. I think there's one in Toronto running.
Yep, one in Toronto. Our second last. So we're with Chaz 3-Gun. We're down to 40 people matches again. So that's like our max, and we've got our max, and we've got 20 people on the waiting list. There's a huge demand for 3-Gun in Alberta here, and in especially in Edmonton. So if you want to join in, pay attention and look for the November one to come up.
Hey, crazy! You should attend Maple Seed.
I've been debating about that, honestly, but I just haven't bothered.
Their course is way too good for the price you pay. And like I told them as much. They should charge more because or do a crappier job. But I don't think they want to. Like the course quality is way too high. The materials are all and I've taken a bunch of different courses. I've taken pistol courses, black badge, some carbine courses, a whole bunch of stuff, and the Maple Seed was the highest quality instruction, and it was also the cheapest.
Jesus Christ!
What does it cost for Maple Seed anyway?
It's like $50.
Oh well, that's fucking cheap. Jeez,
it's super cheap for a full day of multiple instructors with all the materials prepped out and the whole day prepped out. And when they get to the end of the day and they're like asking for feedback, it's like you're nitpicking at like tiny little things. They've got like practically the whole day was like flawless. Really good program. And that's why I'm in as trying to spread it out here in Alberta, because we need a core out here to start instructing it.
Mr. Instructor in Training.
I need to wear this shirt a little bit to get some wear into it. And I don't want to like take it out when those guys come back to Alberta here and have it like all crispy and nasty. I want it like worn in. But so Maple Seed again, for the people who don't know, shooting with a sling, shooting offhand, like standing, kneeling, and prone, and getting like a decently accurate results with it. So it's
my 22 has no sling and no accommodations for one.
Just screw in a sling stud into it. What kind of 22 do you got?
A Remington 597.
Oh, you can definitely get that shit like in there.
Yeah, you put a sling stud in there, and then these guys roll around with like a million slings and like loaner rifles and the whole kit and caboodle. So
yeah, plus you could have the fucking banana mags and not have to. You have to bring one mag.
No, you have to bring two. The whole thing's based on training with an M1 Garand, right?
Right.
So there's a 2 and 8 kind of a thing with it. So no, but your Remington 597.
My mags.
Yeah, your Remington 597 would be fine for this kind of thing. Do you have a scope on it?
Oh yeah, the one that came with little 3 to 9, whatever the hell.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. That's fine for it. Drill a hole in the forend and the back, and throw a sling stud in it. You can get those kits at Cabela's or anything like that.
We used to sell them when I worked at sale.
Yeah, $20, and then get a USGI sling, like the cotton kind that cinch up for. Heck, you can get it for $20 online. Project Maple Seed sells them, and you're good to go. And then you can do that. Now, the thing that I got out of that one was being able to shoot medium distance standing and still kill a gopher. Because like here in Alberta, that's what I use the 22 for is shooting gophers. And the practical accuracy I got after that course was really good.
That would definitely be good, because I usually shoot just rifle off a rest. I'm never shooting standing. So
that's what I did. Also, when I shot Tinkerfuck, I slung some of those. During that video that you're talking about, I got that jam. Oh, and I didn't talk about that weird jam malfunction that I had. I was shooting at a gong at 200 yards, which is, I want to say, like a man-sized target at 200 yards, and I was connecting about half the time just with my red dot. taking my time to take a shot every once in a while, not doing it too quick. That's pretty good, I guess. I don't know if it is good or not.
Sorry, what was the accuracy and what range? Standing?
200 yards, man-sized target, dropping rounds kind of quick on it about half the time.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I was standing. I very rarely actually, just like Crazy said, do standing or offhand shooting.
It's challenging. There's a couple of tricks to it, but yeah, it's really good practice. I shot that Type 81 out to 500 meters too. I off a rest at 500 meters, 2 out of 5 rounds in a mag contact at 500 meters.
Nice.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Oh yeah, and the malfunction that I got, I was running one of those plastic mags that holds a bunch of rounds, and I guess I rammed it in too hard, and I pushed the mag through and past the mag stops in the mag well.
Oh yeah, you must have really rammed it in there.
I don't think I did, man. I think it's just like shoved it in, and it took me like a good 5 minutes of basically grabbing onto the mag and beating the front of the rifle down to try and get it out because I could not leverage it out, and I had
which mag? PCV?
Yeah.
So there should be a stop on it, like right on the edge, right there. I know there's a stop. It doesn't poke out, but there's still a stop there.
Yeah, I seem to remember there being a physical thing somewhere on the side of the mag.
I don't know, man, because when I pried it out, the indentations of the mag stops on the inside of the mag well were in like scratched on the side of the mag.
Like below where it should have gone? It should have been below where it should have gone. So what, like one thing that you might want to just take a real quick peek at is that mag release. It might not be in all the way.
No, it's in.
Okay, I'm out of ideas then. Like I always just push them in until the screw is like touching my finger on the button.
Yep, that's exactly how mine is set up.
Okay, well, that's my only idea.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a really weird malfunction that I had to.
Blackie Lawless, no, that's not gel in his hair; it's grease.
What?
Gun grease.
Yeah,
gun grease.
Yeah, just my Mexicanness is leaking through my head. But on that note,
yeah, I think we're there.
Let's finish on that. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the last show of the Victoria host, and then it will be more Eastern because it's gonna be the no longer as West Coast.
Okay, let's be realistic. You're going east, but it'll be more Western.
Yes, very much so.
It's like when you go in Ontario, the more north you get, the more south you get.
That's true. Got to talk to Terror Hunter. He's definitely a southerner living northerly.
I have to go shooting with those guys up there again. It's been a while.
You should. Oh yeah, do range meetups. Bring people out shooting. Get more people in the sport. And with that, thank you very much for being here tonight with us. I hope you had a good time. We certainly did. And this has all been complete and utter bullshit. Don't take us seriously, please, for the love of God. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Later.
Bye.